All right, week 8 in college football. Let's start the conversation in Austin, Texas. Georgia showed up and whooped Texas.
Yes, they did.
Angry football team came to Austin and proved a point. Final score 30-15. And I think the story of the game is the Georgia defense.
Hmm.
The story of the game early was the turnovers. Beck threw a couple picks, but Texas wasn't really able to do anything with them. And then Georgia made Texas pay for their turnovers. Right, Ewers doesn't see the quarter blitz, gets absolutely smoked.
Hmm.
Fumbles. Georgia cashes it in 7-0. Ewers interception. Georgia scores a couple plays later to extend it to 17-0. Stark pulls Ewers for Arch Manning. Doesn't matter. They come and they strip Arch. Georgia turns it into a field goal. That was to make it 23-0 at the half. Like Georgia forced turnovers and made Texas pay for them.
Hmm.
And it was an absolute struggle for Texas's offensive line, especially for Kelvin Banks and Cam Williams.
What'd you think about the move by Sark to pull Ewers and put Arch Manning in? Kind of a desperate, we just need a spark.
I I had no problem with it. First of all, I completely trust Steve Sarkisian's opinion on his quarterback room.
Hmm.
But I mean, Ewers, he did not play well against OU and did not look good again at the start of this football game. I honestly would have liked to see some of Arch in the second half
Hmm.
just to try to add a QB run element to things
What
to
were you
make Georgia's
surprised?
defense have to respect that.
Yeah, no, I agree. Were you surprised when Ewers got the call coming out of halftime?
No, it felt like a hey, Quinn, take a seat and calm down a little bit. Let's reset. But Ewers said, hey, he didn't know he was going back on the field until he was told at halftime.
Yeah.
But you look at the offense in the first half for Texas. And remember, this is a Georgia defense that had not been a dominant group up to this point. They looked like a dominant group on Saturday night. My goodness. But Texas's first half on offense, punt, punt, fumble, punt, interception, punt, punt, fumble.
Whew. That looks familiar.
Yes, it does. But just an absolutely dominant first
Physical.
half defensively for Georgia.
Big hits all over the place, dominating the line of scrimmage.
Just getting after Texas's offensive line. And then the interception happened. And it was negated by an awful pass interference call. It's great coverage by Jade Barron. That guy's a hell of a player.
Hmm.
Late third quarter, it rains beer on the field after they show the replay in stadium. And then they changed the call. That was crazy, Ted.
Crazy. Crazy.
I
I mean,
couldn't believe it watching it from my couch.
I know. And I, it was a bad call. They changed it and got it right. But the way they changed it and got it right sets a horrible precedent. So I don't know, man. That was wild.
The the optics were not great.
Right.
And it's interesting because the refs that got it right, but the conversation seemed to only take place because they were having to clean all of the beer up off the field.
Yep.
It didn't look great.
No.
But hey, it made for an entertaining moment in that football game because Texas goes and score. It's 23-15, and I'm going,
I
hey, we
know.
got a game. Game's
Yeah.
on.
Yep.
That drive, after that all took place,
Because
the
that
offensive
place came alive. They had been getting their asses kicked. They were pissed. And then it stood and they punch it in. That place came alive.
And the feeling was we're coming back to win this game,
That's
probably.
right. And I was actually thinking, it was like, that's going to change everything. Here it comes.
And then Georgia goes 11 plays, 89 yards, takes 5 minutes off the clock, and punches it in. ETN plows through on 4th and 1 at the goal line. That's a big boy drive right there, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's championship level stuff. And I think, not to make too much of it, but Georgia's got a bunch of guys that have played in massive games against some really good competition. And they've got a bunch of guys that have felt that pressure. And that looked like a football team that was comfortable under the circumstances right there.
And there was no hesitation from Kirby at all on it either.
No,
We're going.
Kirby was fiery after this one, man.
Yes, he was.
Called out ESPN, called out the officials. I
What do you say about ESPN? Maybe I may have missed that one.
He basically said your entire network said we didn't have a chance.
Nice.
But he also said some stuff. It was clearly shots at Texas. He was like, we weren't interested in taking pictures and all that superstar stuff. We're here to eat. We're hungry. We're here to eat. I mean, it was full crazy safety Kirby Smart is what it was. It was great.
They tried to steal it from us with calls, he
Yeah.
said.
Yeah, I'm sure that he will get a
Reprimand?
large bill in the mail for that one.
Yeah.
But it, I'm interested in your thought, and maybe there could be a little rivalry between Georgia and Texas brewing. That could be fun
Mm-hmm.
because he took some clear shots at Texas after that game and is on the field. But I'd put Georgia number 1 without hesitation. I know Oregon's 6-0. I know Penn State's undefeated. But I don't think either of those teams can beat that Georgia team when they play like that.
No, that looked like the Georgia of old. It's that team's been hiding a little while. That looked like the Georgia we're used to over the last couple of years, for sure.
I do not have a vote, but I would vote them number 1 after watching that football game.
Hard to argue.
They, for the vast majority of the game, manhandled Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Texas is a really good football team. And I also think maybe this is the best thing that could have happened to Texas. I think that group was feeling themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and rightfully so. They had run through everyone on their schedule, embarrassed OU. I think this is a situation where Steve Sarkisian can turn on the tape and go, you thought you had arrived.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what it looks like. Here's the standard, right? Georgia is the gold standard in college football. There's no debating that. And they came into our house and whooped our ass. Where do we
Everyone
go from
watched.
here?
Everyone was tuned into that one. That was a big football game, and yeah, that's that was a big win for Georgia. Big.
But I think it gives Sark, they still have all of their goals in front of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Still can go play for an SEC title, still in a great position to go to the college football playoff. But now he can go, guys, we got to get back to work. And I think there's power in that for Steve Sarkisian. And I'm interested to see how Texas bounces back from, let's be real, a really disappointing performance.
Mm-hmm.
We'll
Yep.
see.
We'll see. Yeah, that what they got. Texas has what Vandy coming up. That's on the road. That'll be an interesting game. Obviously, they play A&M late, who's still sitting atop the conference right now. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they respond to that.
They've got at Vandy, Florida, at Arkansas, Kentucky, and then at A&M.
Mm-hmm.
They can win every one of those games.
Sure.
Just have to, you got to play better.
Mhm.
But I thought that was, we saw Texas play elite competition now. That's the first team they've played all season long that was either on an even playing field or had better players than they did.
Yeah.
And they got whooped. So we'll see where they go from here.
Yep. No, that's right. Credit to Georgia. It feels like Georgia is back in a big way.
That defense, my goodness.
They look good.
Did not see that coming. Uh,
Mm.
Credit to that defense. That was impressive. All right, let's hit the other massive game from the weekend. Alabama went to Knoxville, and the Tennessee offense couldn't do anything for the vast majority of the football game, but somehow found it late, and the Vols win 24-17. And Ted, it is the first time Alabama has lost twice before the end of December, or excuse me, the end of October since 2007.
I know it's wild, and they've lost twice. They've been on the verge of losing a couple other ones, and this was the big question for me. Like, does it unravel on them? And we'll see. Like now, this is the unravel point. If it does, we'll see how if they stay together. If people start to question the leadership at the top, I mean, I know the fan base is going to be pissed. So see how resilient they are as a football team.
I feel like we're so used to Alabama just making you pay for all, like if you make mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
just making you pay. The first half was an absolute disaster for Tennessee's offense. Dylan Sampson loses a fumble. They throw two interceptions when the backup came in and just basically punted it to Alabama's defense. That was something. Just YOLO ball there from that guy. That was interesting. They missed, so they had two interceptions, they had a lost fumble, and they missed two field goals. And they were down 7-0 at half. I credit to that Tennessee defense, man.
Yeah,
When
they
the Sooners
battled.
played them, we talked a lot about how good we thought they were as a group, and they came out and they held Jalen Milroe in check. They held Ryan Williams in check. Really good, really physical against Bama's run game. I mean, that defense is the reason that Tennessee won the football game. The offense found some life in the second half, and it started with the running game. They got Dylan Sampson going and then
Mhm.
found some explosives in the passing game, and Nico finally connected on some of them. He missed guys in the first half, but Tennessee's defense won him that football game.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, whenever you look at the rushing numbers from the game, 34 rushes for 75 yards for Alabama and 41 for 220 for Tennessee. I mean, it's hard to overcome that type of discrepancy in the run game.
They were awesome. They kept Milroe in check. Bama's longest run of the game was 11 yards,
Mm.
and they've got the most dynamic quarterback in college football.
Yep. He's making some mistakes though. That's I don't know if he is just maybe pressing a little bit too much or what, but some of the throws from him uncharacteristic of what you would expect.
Nico had some big throws in the second half.
Yeah, he did.
Deep ball to Thornton, beautiful. The touchdown to Brazel in the fourth quarter was a really nice throw. I thought he bounced back and showed a lot of mental toughness after having a very poor performance in the first half. But the only other thing about this game, I some of these penalties that some of these guys get, it was like the R. Mason Thomas jumping off sides on 4th and 5.
Mm-hmm.
Kendrick Law getting a personal foul. There's a minute 55 to go in the game. You have to go score. It's going to be 4th and 7, and he gets a personal foul to make it 4th and 22. It probably
Right.
should have been offsetting, but that is so stupid. It's unbelievable. And what it does is you already have this group of Bama fans, right? That, hey, DeBoer ain't Saban. This team ain't disciplined. Nick would never let him do it. You got wide receivers on 4th and 1 shooting fake jump shots out on the edge
Yeah.
in a big rivalry game. The discipline's not there. And then you see these things and you go, huh? It's kind of hard to argue. That's an
Uh,
insane penalty to get.
yeah, it is. It's crazy. And it's what it end up making what 4th and 22 coming out, and they just have to they try to dump it underneath and run for it.
Yeah, which was an even crazier call. Hey, it's 4th and 22. You got to throw it to or past the sticks.
They looked like that was their plan though.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know
I,
if he was supposed to be someone crossing, and it was like, you throw the hook up and he tries to run this way, draw the defense, and then you toss it to a guy back coming under. But there was no one underneath. It was like, go get it.
I was watching it and I went, wait, what? I, I don't know how that's the call in that situation, but they shouldn't have been in the situation in the first place because Kendrick Law has to be smarter than that.
Right.
The the Bama fans, so you've got DeBoer's wardrobe, hot topic. And now the clip of I think it was Jeremy Bernard and Ryan Williams on the 4th down play out, like shooting the fake jumpers. If you haven't seen it, go find it on Twitter. Go talk to any Alabama fan. They have a strong opinion on it, I guarantee you. But these little things, man, Bama did it one way for so long, and it just it just feels a little different. I mean, they're
It
still
is.
a good football team, Ted, but it
Right.
does feels a little different.
It does. And, I said it after I watched that South Carolina game in preparation that, Alabama's defense is not the the brutal, physically dominant group that they've been in the past. It doesn't look the same. Not that it looks bad. I mean, there's some bad moments for sure, but just when you talk about it, just generally, whenever you watch that team, it is not the physical presence that they've been.
Well, Tennessee's defensive line controlled that entire football game, and so it's kind of hard to argue.
Mm-hmm.